Jeff Koenig, Property Prep, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Join us this week as we show you a roofing project. We're working here in Milwaukee's Riverwest neighborhood, and there is a duplex and a rear cottage, and we're going to show you the before, during, and after, and tell you about the materials we used. And then later on, we'll show you in another video the restoration of the remainder of the rear house, which we're going to do siding repair and painting and soffit and fascia on. So take a look at this video. Let us know if you have any questions.
And welcome back to another action-packed video of a project that we did. There was a single family house in the rear and a duplex in the front. And in Milwaukee, this construction method was very common because the owner would live in the back and either a family member would live in the front and rent out another unit, or two family members would live in the front, or they could provide enough income and the back would almost be like an ADU or an accessory dwelling unit, which are now becoming more and more popular and permitted by code. As you see in the drone footage now, there is a giant hole where some rodents took up refuge, and that's really how this project started. And we noticed that there was some seepage in that immediate area, as well as some noise complaints from the tenants. So the ownership of this property decided that the roof was not looking good on the front house either. Let's redo everything. And you'll see as we tore off the back, there's OSB, or oriented strand board, on the north side of the property. On the south side of the property, you have regular decking, I guess. It's 1-bys that are spaced out. And anytime we have greater than a ½ inch space between the individual boards, like you see here, we need to do what's called a redeck, which is put 7/16 or ½ inch plywood over the top of it. Because if a nail were to pierce the space between those boards, you would have a leak there. So you'll see the crew here working diligently with their fall protection on to peel off the shingles. There are 8 to 10 guys working on this on the roof and on the ground, and it's coming off pretty quickly. On the south side, things were not going quite as well as they were on the new OSB because there was a little bit more buildup and the shingles were really stuck to the deck. You will see here that they're having a little issue taking off the chimney flashing. You know, that's not a bad thing. Chimney flashings need to be done correctly. And unfortunately, on a lot of old buildings, and this one included, there was tar used over the top. And that's a common leak point. So when you're doing roofing, you always want to make sure that the roofer you pick, whether it's our firm or another firm, is cutting in what we call a reglet, which is using a grinder to recess a piece of sheet metal custom bent on site or in a shop to fit in the chimney and become coplanar so that water doesn't get behind it. And then it is caulked in with Solar Seal or Quad or Vulcum as well at any sort of fastener location. As we are working down the roof, everything is going onto tarps, and those tarps are then dragged to dump trailers in this case, and those dump trailers are then taken to waste management or to another recycling facility because this is an all asphalt load. You can use a dumpster. In these urban settings, we just find that it's easier to use dump trailers because coordinating a day before is too onerous, and it is just easier to back up right to the job and pull the shingles right in. So that is what we have for the rear. And pretty soon we're going to go to the front building, which is the bigger of the two, and we'll watch the team start tearing that off. You will notice that we're using CertainTeed shingles on this job, and we're using a complete CertainTeed branded solution. So not only are they doing the shingle, but they're also doing the underlayment. And for this particular roof, we're using the CertainTeed shingles, and we're using the entire CertainTeed ecosystem, and that includes their synthetic underlayment, which is called Roof Runner. And Roof Runner by CertainTeed is a durable and long-lasting synthetic roof underlayment that provides superior protection to residential roofs. According to their website, Its resistance to water, wind, and ease of installation, slip-resistant surface, and durability make it reliable and cost-effective choice for homeowners and contractors alike. Normally, you would see felt paper, and in the last few years, these synthetic underlayments and other total ecosystem products have become more popular. And while this may be a money grab from the shingle manufacturers, it is definitely an improvement, A, for safety, but B, you'll see on the roof runner inlay that we do now that there are places for your fasteners to make sure that you're getting enough fasteners per square foot. And also there are predetermined lines there that help you make sure that you're getting the correct overlap. And also when you're using a complete ecosystem, you get a warranty from the manufacturer that exceeds what you normally would get. And this roof is, we're using the Landmark shingle, which is a UL 2218 class 3 impact rated shingle. And this is great because it has class A fire resistance, a dual layer design, and the Weatherwood is really a shingle that we find works with most color homes, and it's something that we use on almost every residential and commercial income producing property that we own personally as well as for clients. So really think that the CertainTeed Weatherwood product is great, and the Landmark shingle is a really good value. So back to the roof. We continue to watch the tear off here. There is not a redeck needed in the front house, but there is some rot in some of the boards, and we do have to replace some of them. You'll see the guys are making really quick work of this and being careful to tarp the neighbor's property so that there is not any excessive debris making it into the windows of the neighbor, smacking against the house, and making sure that everyone's using fall protection and operating safely, which is number one at our company. Roof comes off pretty smoothly and starts to go right back on. You'll see on the rear property, we are redecking simultaneously and also putting on shingles on the front roof. This is a 2-day project overall, and we think that that is pretty fast and the least intrusive to neighbors. You start getting into these really long projects and people start to get upset. You'll see here on the ground on the tarps that there was a layer of cedar shake underneath, which was originally what all of these houses would have been clad with, and they put asphalt shingles over it. So when we're tearing off these houses in Milwaukee, we do account for a level of cedar shake on many of these houses, and then a layer or 2 or sometimes 3 on top of it. You can no longer get waterproofing over any layer of cedar shake, but it is not recommended to do more than 1 layer of shingles in general. If you're really balling on a budget, maybe you can get away with 2, but that's not the correct way to do it. You'll see our guys are stepping the shingles and laying them down with the appropriate number of fasteners per shingle, as well as putting in color matched valleys and roof cap. That's really important because it looks cohesive. If you were to put white on the roof, it would really stand out, which is the standard sort of trim coil that most people keep on their trucks. We're panning around. The roof is starting to look finished. The details are what takes the longest, and you'll see us finishing up the dormer and the cap shingles on the rear house. And when we're talking about the front house, there are these little eyebrows and little lips that are requiring flashing details that are more complex and working off of ladders instead of being able to work directly on the roof. So here you'll see all of the fall protection being taken down and the last of the work being done from ladders as we're backing our way off of the roof. This roof in total took a day and a half, and we'll need to have someone go back to do tuck pointing on the chimneys. But overall, it was a smooth job. No one got hurt, and we think that it turned out wonderfully, and look forward to another 20 to 30 years of service for this roof for the client. Stay tuned for a future video where we're going to do a rehab of the siding on the rear house, which is really in a sorry state.
This was an amazing 2 days. We did 2 roofs in these 2 days, even with the 85, 90 degree weather and almost 100% humidity. The guys did a great job keeping it safe, professional, did a great job on cleanup, and really knocked it out of the park. We're really proud of our team. If you have any comments or questions about the roofing job we did here, leave it down in the comments. We really appreciate it if you would like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. We have a new video that drops every Friday. I'm gonna leave a card up here to a video you may not have seen in the past, and we'll look forward to seeing you on future videos.